Hello, Irish. I want to thank you all for taking this time to watch this video as well as go through this PowerPoint. For those of you who are new here, every single season I do a coaches meeting online as well as a parent and student athlete meeting online. This will also be added to each parent's Final Forms account as well as the student athletes Final Forms account to sign off on. But I want to go ahead and go through some items before the season, just to make sure that everybody is on the same page, as well as make sure we're all moving forward in the right direction when it comes to the athletic office. Hopefully by now you all know who I am. My name is Kyle Sasala. I'm the athletic director. I've been here. This is my second year now. We have Brendan Hall, who is our assistant athletic director, been here for the past year. Hopefully by now you all know Brian Knight, or B Knight. He's our athletic trainer. Tanner Ross is also another newer-ish addition to our athletic office. He is our graduate assistant from Kent State University. Probably have seen him around a little bit at the different athletic events. Ashley Hathaway is our newer assistant athletic trainer as well from Kent State. And then last but not least, Coach T, or Coach Marino, Christina Marino, is our brand new-ish again weight strength and conditioning coach, transportation coordinator. She's in the building. She does a great job. So this is some contact information for the athletic office. If you have any questions about anything, let us know, and we'll try and help you out as best as we can. Go ahead and get into a little bit of some things when it comes to the St. Vincent St. Mary Athletics purpose, mission, vision, goals, things like that. I'm very goal-oriented, very purpose-oriented. I'm always trying to get better, in everything that we do on the field, but also off the field as well, being student athletes. I'm not going to read the first bullet point. You guys can read that, but that is our mission statement for the athletic office. Really, in the gist of things, I want to use education-based athletics as a platform to transform student lives. So what I mean by that is, making this a transformational coaching experience. Using transformational coaching to transform these student athletes into better people. So basically, using education-based athletics, using sports as a platform to transform these young boys and girls into young men. And there's a million different things that they learn, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But they learn through sports that we try to teach them as ADs, as coaches, and as teachers, of the game. So what I mean by transformational coaching, I'm the transformational versus transactional. Understanding that it's not just about the X's and the O's. Don't get me wrong, I want to win and I hate to lose, and I think every athlete, every coach, every parent is the same way. But as I get older and older, I understand that it's not just about the wins and losses. It's about, again, transforming these kids into amazing people, through sports. And I think winning and creating great men and great young women can go simultaneously, can go parallel with each other. If we're, transforming these kids, we're gonna win on the field, but also off the field. Again, I talked a little bit about development. Again, developing these young boys and young girls into young men, young women through sports. It's pretty self-explanatory. That's what I'm all about. I'm huge on that. Huge on the learning experience. I talked a little bit about that, but using education-based athletics, understanding that the field, the pool, the court is an extension of the classroom. It's even though we're not learning the math or learning geography or whatever it may be, we are still learning, teamwork, confidence, adversity, how many different things that, for you parents, or for you parents who, have played a sport, how many things have you learned that you still use today in your day-to-day work or day-to-day just doing of things? One thing too is adversity. I want our coaches to push your sons and daughters to be better, again, better athletes, but better, people in general. They're going to have to go through a lot of ups and a lot of downs, just like we would in life. There's not going to be everything handed to them. That's one thing I'm huge on. We're here to push them and understand that they have to earn everything that they want to earn. Really, they need to put the time, the energy, and the effort into the sport. both during the season and also in the off season with, open fields or open nets or whatever it may be, and also with the weight training. Understanding that they're not going to walk in on day one and expect a starting spot right off the bat. That has to be earned and it's not given. Accountability. One thing that I'm big on all these things, but accountability is a big piece. We're going to hold your son and your daughter accountable for their actions. There's going to be rules, there's going to be guidelines, there's going to be expectations throughout the season. I'm giving you my expectations for for the athletic office. Coaches are going to give their athletic expectations, rules, and guidelines for the teams as well, and they're going to hold them accountable. And I'm also going to hold our coaches accountable for everything that they need to do. Our coaches will have a huge impact on our student athletes. I want to have an impact myself, Brendan, Tanner, to athletic trainers, to the doctors, to the coaches that we, put in front of your son and your daughters. I want to have an impact on them. Still to this day, I remember all my coaches that I played with, and I'm sure parents, and even some, student athletes, you remember all your coaches that you played with, that you've been coached by, and you probably, remember the amazing impact that they've had on yourself, both on the field and off the field. And that's how I want my coach to be. And I also want my coaches to, to have that impact so that when they're done playing their 4 years here at St. V, they can come back and coach, or they can still be a part of the program, be a part of the community. We do have a lot of coaches, a lot of kids that go on to graduate and they come back as coaches, or they're just a part of the program. And that's what I want to see. One thing that we've added this year is it's Champions 101, a little bit of a typo. I apologize. I'll send out the updated PowerPoint. But Champions 101 is a new platform that we're using for three different things, for our parents, for our coaches, as well as for our student athletes. It's a sports performance and leadership development program. It really helps out with, things that go above and beyond, the things to do off the court, things to do on the court, how to be a good sport, how to deal with adversity, different things. So it's a course load for parents, for student athletes, and for coaches. And the link is right there, and that will also be in your Final Forms account as well. It is voluntary, but I do highly recommend you take a look at it. Hopefully you'll learn a few things, parents, student athletes. I know our coaches have learned a few things, so feel free to jump on there and take a look at it. It's a really great resource. Athletics is a privilege, not right. I talked a little bit about that with the accountability, but they're not going to show up just on day one and expect a starting spot. They have to earn it. It's a privilege to be a part of St. V, to be a part of the basketball team, or the baseball team, the football team, cheer team, gymnastics, whatever it may be, whatever team. It's not a right. It's a privilege to be on there. It's you should wear your logo on your chest very highly, and take everything into consideration of how you act on the field, but also off the field. Competitiveness, obviously, here at St. V, we have a rich tradition of success and competitiveness. I want to continue that success and continue that competitive nature that we have here, but also understanding it's not just about the wins and the losses. It's about, again, that transformational coaching, transformational experience for these kids, but also, again, like I talked about earlier, aligning and having that parallel mindset of that, you can transform these young men and young boys and young girls into young men and young women, and also win at the same time. The positive and fun experience, that's pretty self-explanatory, but I want myself to have a positive experience. I want my coaches, I want all the parents, the student athletes, to have a positive and fun experience while they are participating in athletics here at St. V. I think it stems down to a big reason why kids play sports today. Why we played sports is we want to have fun, and we want to have a positive environment while we're doing it. And I think sometimes we lose track of the real reason of why we play sports. A big reason is to have fun at the end of the day. I remember when I played in high school. There were days where I hated going to practice or hated going to the games. I want that to be an opposite reaction for our student athletes, for our coaches. I want them to actually be excited to go to practice, be excited to go to the games, and be excited to be a part of the program and the team. Last but not least, academics. Academics is is huge. It's pretty self-explanatory. You're a student athlete, you're not an athlete student. Take care of your grades. If you need help, reach out to myself, reach out to Brendan, your teachers, your coaches. We're here to support you, and we're here to be resources for you. If you're struggling, reach out. 95% of the problem is just doing the work. Excuse me. And if you need help with that, let us know. We will do study tables. We can do different things to help assist you if you are struggling. But again, we are, put a huge emphasis on academics, obviously being student athletes. You're here to be a student first, not an athlete student. Moving ahead, just want to talk a little bit about the head coach directory. Here are our coaches for the season. Hopefully by now you all know who your coach is. If you don't know who your coach is, please reach out to your coach and touch base with them to make sure that you are on the email chain. Make sure you're on final forms, and I'll get into final forms here in a little bit. But head coach directory, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to them. Moving along, I want to talk a little bit about the OHSAA, or the Ohio High School Athletic Association. So the OHSAA is our governing body for athletics. Most schools in the state of Ohio are a part of the OHSAA, the Ohio High School Athletic Association. There is some OHSAA preseason information that maybe I haven't gone over. Click on that link. It's a good resource to have just for some other things that maybe I won't touch. But again, I wanted to link that PDF or that website there for some more information, parents and athletes, if you have any other questions. Sportsmanship, that's a big one. Yeah, we have a lot of great sports on our teams, but we also have a lot of piss poor sports on our teams, as well as some of our parents too. We have some great sports, and we have some not so great sports when it comes to people and spectators and parents in the stands. And I put a huge emphasis on sportsmanship. I will call you out if you're acting like a fool in the stands. I cannot stand yelling at officials consistently up their behinds, and swearing at them or yelling at them or whatever it may be. We are so thin on officials and so thin on people that want to officiate that. And a huge reason is because of the lack of sportsmanship that we have between our teams, our parents, and our players. And I will put a huge emphasis on sportsmanship, and I will call you out, and I will ask you to leave if you are acting like a fool at any specific game that I am at. I have no tolerance for idiots when it comes to being people in the stands. I know it's maybe a little bit blunt, but I'm telling you straight up. I'm huge on sportsmanship. Here are a few links. The Parents Fair Play Code. Click on that. It's from the OHSA again. Again, it just goes over some good things to do, what to say during the games, and how to be a good sport and how to respect the game. That's another link down there at the OHSA Respect the Game. Just again talking about how you can respect the game as a player, as a parent, as a spectator. Again, because you're representing the school as players, student athletes, and as parents, spectators, and with you yelling or chirping at the officials or the umpires or whatever it may be, and acting like a fool in the fans or in the stands, you then put a bad light on St. V and on the athletic department and on the school, and I can't have that. The last bullet point is a funny fan. This is how, believe it or not, how some of you parents and spectators act. Again, I know I'm very blunt when it comes to this, but this is how some people act and how stupid some people can look. And this is exactly what I don't want to see in our stands. I've seen it too many times, and again, I will ask you to tone it down and to leave if you're going to act like this. But again, please remember, this is this video is supposed to be intended to be funny. But again, it also just a great learning experience for myself, for our athletes, for student athletes, for our parents and spectators, and how some people can act during games, and how idiotic at sometimes people can be in the stands. So again, just remember, I am putting a huge emphasis on sportsmanship, and I will throughout the season I will remind you about that. Getting a little bit more into the nitty gritty, final forms. Hopefully by now you know what final forms is, and we'll talk a little bit about eligibility as well. Every athlete, student athlete, and parent is required to have a final forms account. If you do not know what Final Forms is, please let me know and I will get you updated and whatnot on Final Forms. But here's the Final Forms information link. Click on that link in the orange and set up an account if you have not already. Every student athlete needs to have needs to have an account, but also needs to be all green. What I mean by that is they need to be registered on Final Forms. They need to have a valid physical, and they need to have their parent and student athlete forms signed before the season begins. Otherwise, they will not be able to play. I'm going to put a huge emphasis on that, and I'm going to make sure that everybody is green before the season begins. If you are yellow or orange, you will not be able to play. Simple as that. Student athletes, also parents, this is really for parents. You can upload your physicals as well. You can either scan it to me, but also make it easier and upload it to your own Final Forms account. It's that simple. Again, we talked a little bit about the forms. We talked a little bit about Champions 101. Again, a little bit of a typo, but again, that will be on your Final Forms account as well. Again, a great resource to have. Again, it takes it a step further than just throwing the ball and the bat out and playing. Again, it takes it further and it has a bigger purpose of why we are participating in education-based athletics. Getting a little bit more into eligibility. Student athletes must be at school for 2 full academic blocks to be eligible for practices and games. That does not mean if you have a study hall for 1 block and an academic period for the next block, that's 2 blocks. That's great and all, but you need to be there for 2 academic blocks. Study hall blocks does not count for an academic block. So again, remember that when you are trying to get out of school. If you do have an excused absence, whether it's a doctor's appointment or a death in the family or funeral or a college visit, whatever it may be, please make sure you are running those through the front office. Then they will communicate that to me and the coaches of who is eligible to play that day. Some more eligibility information. You must be enrolled in passing 5 1-credit classes. That is the OHSAA requirement for student athletes. Please remember that physical education does not count as a full credit. We do have other eligibility too as well, and I'll get a little bit into that, but we have same V eligibility on top of the OHSAA eligibility, and I'll get into that in a little bit. When it comes to OHSAA and same V, requirements for eligibility when it comes to academics, we talked about OHSAA passing the 5 1-credit classes, but also on top of that, SDVM, we do have our own standards on top of that. We basically are requiring every student athlete to maintain a 2.0 GPA for each grading period. Student athletes who fall below that 2.0 GPA requirement, between that 1.5 and 1.99 GPA, they'll be placed on academic probation, as I like to say. During that probation period, these student athletes will remain eligible, which is good. But they'll be eligible for extracurricular activities, but they must, they are required to attend study sessions, remediation sessions, whatever it may be that is outlined by the school. And if you have any questions about that, or if you are on that 1.5 to 1.99 GPA status, please reach out to your counselor and or myself or Mrs. Busey in the academic office. Taking it a step further, when it comes to same V eligibility, student athletes who fall below a 1.5 are ineligible for extracurricular activities and are not allowed to attend any practices or games. That is also in conjunction with the OHSA. They also state that a current student athlete must pass 5. We talked about 5 1-credit courses each quarter to ensure eligibility. If you are below that 1.5, but you are above, passing those 5 credit classes, you will then become ineligible until the interim. So if you have underneath a 1.5 and you are OHSA eligible, what I mean by that is you're passing those 5 credit classes, you will then become ineligible until the semester, or until the interim. And then once that grade check is done at the interim, if you are above that 2.0, if you're above that 1.5 GPA, you will then be placed on academic probation and then allowed to participate in athletics. If you have any more questions about that, please feel free to let me know. Communication and playing time. This is a big one. I want open, honest, transparent, and in real-time communication with my parents, with my players, student athletes, coaches, with everybody. I believe 99% of our problems stem from the lack of communication or miscommunication or no communication at all. That is one word you will hear me talk about a lot is communication, communication, communication. Over communication in his finance is the best. Playing time, though, playing time is between player and a coach. Again, a few slides ago, I talked about the expectations and purpose and things like that. Again, I want this to be a learning experience for the kids. I want them to use their voice and get, gain the confidence to go and talk with coach if they are not getting enough playing time that they think they deserve. So again, I don't want to see parents going straight to coach about playing time. Student athletes will need to go and talk with the coach. If a parent does go to coach or go to me for playing time, I will push you right back down to your son or daughter and ask if they've talked with coach. And if they haven't, then that will be the first step. Next step would obviously be if they do go and they don't like the answer they received. Parents will then have a sit down meeting with the coach as well as the player will be in the meeting as well to go over any playing time or any other issues. If that does not get resolved, then I will step in with everybody and see if we can come to an agreement. Talked about learning experience for student athletes. Again, that's another phrase I will talk about. And I want this to again be a learning experience for the kids. Here's another video. I like to use a lot of videos and links and websites and things like that. This is a good video to see to watch. It's a college coach talking about playing time and parents, and it really just puts things into perspective. So again, another great resource for you parents and athletes to use. Transportation, we got to talk about it. Transportation always becomes an issue. We are so low on bus drivers. Finding bus drivers and finding buses is hard to come by. It's hard to come by, and two, it's very, very, very expensive. So we try to be very strategic with transportation, and we ask that just please be patient with us and the coaches. As we work through these transportation issues, there's always issues when it comes to transportation. So please just bear with us, and I will again over communicate. Myself, Brendan, our coaches will over communicate when it comes to that point if there's any issues. Little thing to know: transportation will be offered to all sports, but there may be times where you had this where their parents or the players will have to self-transport to practices and or games if busing is not available, or if it's a close game, say at Hoban or Walsh or CBCA or whatever it may be, Firestone. If it's close, we might ask you to self-transport to help with again the issues with transportation. And all this, and there will also be some forms in your Final Forms account that you will sign off on for transportation as well. Moving along, talk a little bit about our social media website. We do have an athletic website only. It's updated in real time. Click on the orange link right there to take a look at it. It has rosters, it has schedules, it has it'll have hopefully this video on there. It'll have other, everything and anything athletics related will be on that website. So go ahead and check it out if you haven't already. We do have different social media accounts. We have our, obviously Twitter, we have Instagram, Facebook. These are our account profiles. We are very active on social media. We do use a platform to take our social media to the next level with rather than just pictures and words. We use cool logos, our school logos, videos, things like that to take our social media game for athletics to the next level. Please make sure you're following our accounts, but also following all the sport specific accounts. Every sport should have a Twitter and Instagram as well. Some of them have Facebooks too as well, based on the coaches that run them. We also utilize YouTube. YouTube is our where we will stream a lot of our home games. At least the ones that are in the gym and on the field. We'll stream every single home game for that. So go ahead and bookmark that YouTube account. Talk a little bit about ticketing. We are utilizing obviously hometown ticketing. Again, we do have the updated spectator policy on the website, so go ahead and click there if you have any more questions about that. We do offer tickets. Obviously, and season passes are offered here at that link. Click on that link to purchase them online. One thing to note is we do encourage all tickets to be purchased online. That really ensures your seat at the game, but we will accept cash at the gate if there are seats still available in the quarter on the field, wherever it may be. One thing to note too, athletic passes are not accepted for any OHSA sanctioned games. Since that is an OHSA game, a tournament game, we cannot accept the passes that we create or that we sell as a school. Please know that ticket purchasing for away games, every school is different. Some schools do all cash, some do a variation of both. Please know that will be communicated to the families and student athletes teams once we receive that as the athletic office. Last slide, there's some other important dates and information. We do have picture days set up. Coaches will communicate what date you are assigned to, but these two dates are February 28th and March 4th. We don't have the teams squared away yet with the dates yet, but again, once those are confirmed, coaches will send that out. Team parent meetings. Every team will have a parent meeting before the season to go over expectations, to go over rules, guidelines, what is to come for the season. Coaches, if they have not had those meetings already, will send out an email with dates and times for that meeting. Another important date is signing day. We have signing day, which is on February 7th at 2 p.m. That is for any student athletes, seniors that are signing at the next level to play at the next level collegiately. That's from all divisions, Division 1, 2, 3, NAIA, whatever it may be. We want to showcase the amazing things that you've done on the field and also off the field. So again, mark that date for signing day. Last but not least, a great resource is obviously the OHSA website, but this is the season calendar of important dates for the OHSA. It talks about outlines every single sport, and what season, what important dates of when tournament time is, the state tournament, sectionals, districts, regionals, things like that. Again, a great resource to utilize moving forward. Last but not least, I want to thank you all for again taking the time to watch this video. Overlook go over the PowerPoint of the rules, expectations, guidelines, and what to come for the season. But I'm looking forward to a fantastic and fun and positive spring season. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the athletic office, and go Irish.